5 turnovers. SGA with 29 points. The Thunder have outscored opponents by 85 points this postseason, the most through the first 5 games of a playoffs by any team since 2016, and the second most in franchise history, behind only the 2016 Thunder with KD and Russ. Zach Lowe, I'm going to come to you first on this one. 5 games, 5 wins for this young Thunder squad. What's impressed you the most as they've dominated so far this postseason?
They are rolling, and this has been sneakily, for all the attention on Shea and Chet and the offense, an amazing defensive team all season. Top 5 defense, wire to wire, a turnover forcing machine, and there are a couple possessions against Luka last night, one of the great chess masters in the league, that made me sit up and say, holy bleep! If we can go to the tape, just a couple of things that show OKC's defense. We're going to start with a simple Luka, Daniel Gafford pick and roll on the left side of the floor. Look at Aaron Wiggins and Cason Wallace on the weak side. Here comes Aaron Wiggins. He's on the left side shooter in the left corner. That's usually not his help assignment. Luka tries to fool everyone with a no-look pass. No, the Thunder fool him. Even better, watch this combined defense. Cason Wallace sinks in from the corner. Aaron Wiggins is going to rotate down. They are rotating on the flight of the ball. Crisscross, change assignments. They don't miss a beat. That's an okay shot for Tim Hardaway Jr., but a really good contest for Cason Wallace. These guys are on it on defense, and in Lou Dort, J-Dub, Cason Wallace, and Aaron Wiggins, they have 4 legit, really good wing defenders, including 2 of the best in the league, and Lou Dort and Jalen Williams. And when they put stops like that together, I'm just sitting in my room watching on TV going, whoa, 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 barking right along with the Thunder crowd. It was crazy last night.
That's a great bark. Perk, since you just hopped on with us, can you give us a bark really quickly before I get to Danny on this question? I need a bark from you, Perk. Or a growl.
That sound more like somebody that's about to bite. You know what I mean? A dog that's gonna bite. I don't know what Zach sounded like just there. It was cute though.
It was cute.
Be a little bit more aggressive.
The defense from OKC was a lot more than cute, Danny. It was stellar. But there was something else that stood out to you about the Thunder.
Yeah, these young kids, these young groups, I would say, not just OKC, but Minnesota, are showing that they are hungry and they are ready to bite, like Perk just had with his bark. But not their defense is led by mostly their chemistry. You know, to me, their bond, their camaraderie that they have after post games, and it's shown to me, even with, I'm gonna say the lesser of talent, but people would argue Luka and Kyrie are the better 1-2 punch. But even with the lesser of talent, with Shea, Jalen Williams, they have guys like Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, the other Jalen Williams coming off the bench, scoring big, making big plays for them when a guy like the other Jalen Williams doesn't have such a hot start. So when they have them picking up and being in the right spots defensively, it just shows how bonded they are together, how good this group is together. And it reminds me of some of the teams I played with in the past. But that just shows you how big and important chemistry is on the floor and off the floor.
Well, you know, that's what I was just going to ask you, because there are a lot of people that say, you know, they're NBA players, they're trying to feed their families, they've got mortgages to pay. Of course they're going to play hard. How much does that chemistry, when you actually like your teammates, how much does that help, even when you're a professional?
Huge, huge. And I think it comes down to coaching as well. And you can see these guys are just happy for each other. They're happy to see each other shine. Doesn't seem like anybody cares who gets the credit. They just want to win. They want to play well. And they want to see everybody have success. And they have a lot of guys on the roster right now for cheap. So we hope that continues. But I love to watch it. Love to see it. It's exciting, especially from a young group. It's very rare. You don't see it much with a group like that.
Big Perk, don't growl at me when I ask you this question. You were on the last Thunder team to make the finals. How do you think this team stacks up against your squad in 2012?
This team right here. I mean, I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say that they're gonna win the championship this year. Would I be surprised? No, but I got Minnesota coming out of the West. That's another story. But in the next 3 years, you better believe that this team is going to hang a banner in that arena. When you talk about sacrificing, for us being one of the youngest teams in the league, it is a beautiful thing to see. When you watch these guys play a gender-free basketball, when you watch these guys communicate and have the discipline on the defensive side of things, and they're on one accord. It's hard. It's hard to make a young team like this buy in and to believe it into one another. And they could go deep into their bench, and you see the energy from the bench when guys are not playing, right? They're cheering on guys. You can see the post-game interviews where they're all barking together. That's not something that they're just doing to get on social media so they could go viral. That's something that's really in that locker room. That chemistry is there. And so when I think about the time I was in Oklahoma City with Russ, James, KD, those guys were young as well, Serge Ibaka. We made us some nice runs, whether that was the conference finals or the NBA finals. But we wasn't doing that. That trust wasn't there like that. We didn't have that togetherness all the time like that. And I think that's why you see that we wasn't able to actually hang a banner for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But when you think about this team right now, led by SGA and Jalen Williams, I'm telling you right now, in the next 3 years, I guarantee you they're going to hang a banner and win the championship.
On the other side of the coin, Luka Doncic posted a game-worst plus-minus of -21 as he dealt with both a sprained right knee and the smoldering defense of Lou Dort. Doncic was held to just 19 points on 6 of 19 shooting, snapping his streak of 24 consecutive playoff games with at least 20 points. But Luka isn't making any excuses.
Who cares? We lost, man. We just got to move on to the next one. I got to be better. We got to be better, and just, we're known for game one struggling, but we got to focus. They're a great team, great defensive team, great offensive team, so it's not going to be easy at all. We got to play very good basketball and focused basketball for 48 minutes.
After hitting just one of his 8 3-point field goal attempts in Game 1, Luka has shot 14.3% from 3 over his last 4 games, the worst percentage over a 4-game span in NBA playoff history with a minimum of 30 attempts. Perk, coming back to you. The Mavs have dropped 5 straight Game 1s dating back to 2022. They won 3 of the last 4 series, but if Luka and the Mavs want to win this series against the top-seeded Thunder after dropping Game 1, what needs to happen?
Well, Luka, one, is going to have to go hit the speed ladder and go run some hill sprints, because watching that Game 1 last night, it was a lot different than the other Game 1s. It was a lot different when I watched Luka against the Los Angeles Clippers. The pace, the speed, the athleticism of the Oklahoma City Thunder was just night and day from what Luka was providing out there. And let me say this, Luke Dort is not going anywhere, right? We saw him against Brandon Ingram when they played the New Orleans Pelicans. He is a pest. He is a linebacker out there. He wants the physicality. He is a nightmare for Luka. Luka's going to have to find a way to be more involved with ball screens. Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively are going to have to hold those screens. The adjustment, in my opinion, is not slipping out of those screens, not rolling to the basket, but give Luka an opportunity to get the separation off of Luke Dort and all those other guys like Jalen Williams, who are athletic enough but also strong enough to contain Luka where he's not able to go into his back down or whatever the case may be. But it's looking scary. And I picked the Mavs at 7, but just watching that sample size last night, I'm a little bit worried.
Well, I picked the Thunder in 7, so I'm not worried yet. But look, the Thunder are really good, really fast, really menacing. The Clippers, by the end of that series against Dallas, they were old and slow and demoralized. This is a completely different team. And I think Dallas is going to need A-level games from both Kyrie and Luka in the same game, or at least like a B+, A- to win any of these games against the Thunder. I think they'll get some of those games. That 14% number you just showed on Luka's threes, that would scare me a little bit if I were the Thunder, because, yeah, he may be hurting, he may be limping around out there. The dude is a killer. He always bounces back, and if he shot 14% from 3 in his last 4 games or whatever it was, an avalanche is going to come sooner or later. But Perk mentioned the speed, the athleticism, the home court. Another thing that stood out to me last night, Chet Holmgren's combination of length and speed. You could tell the Mavs were like, whoa, this is a kind of a different ball game from us. As good as Zubac is for the Clippers, this guy's on a different level defensively, and you could see them try to adjust and calculate that. They'll be more ready for it in game 2. But Chet Holmgren's defense changed the whole feel of that game for Dallas last night.
I think I'm with Perk on this one. I'm going to go with the Mavs. I went probably 6 or 7, but after last night, it kind of makes me second-guess my pick. But Kyrie's going to have to be more aggressive, and that's more in the first half, and he has to give Luka some time off. Luka with that knee, they don't need him at 100%, but he has to be at least 85, 90% to be able to give them what they need from him. But both of them have to score more. And Kyrie, he's been very explosive in the playoffs this series, in this postseason, but most of it has been in the second half. As you can see, 6.5 points in the first half, 20 in the second half. We're going to need him to be more aggressive and more explosive in both halves, and especially in that first half, to give Luka just a little more rest and to ease that knee into the game.
So Perk is saying that Luka Doncic needs to step up and hit the speed ladder. Danny, you think Kyrie needs to step up. And Zach Lowe, you're just sitting happy because you picked OKC in this series. We will see how it all shakes out.